Okay, we're going to start promptly. It's about 1 o'clock. So hope those people who finish lunch come over. So, this is a Silver Symposium. I'm very pleased to present my next trade. I feel this is going to be the decade for the silver. My friend Lobo just discussed earlier. Actually, he thinks uranium seems to be more bullish than silver. I'm just on the other side. I think silver on its own is at an extremely attractive price. The silver is about to take off, just like lithium a few years back. Actually, I predicted lithium's rise a few years ago. Okay, let's get started. So this is my disclaimer. This is not for financial advice, for education and entertainment purpose only. You feel free to read this carefully. Okay, so I'm managing my family's asset. Okay, I also write a newsletter on the side. I'm not a gold bug nor silver bug. Okay, I invest in quite different sectors. I invest in mining, invest in energy, invest in biotechs. So actually, if you invest in multiple sectors, you have the advantage. For example, today actually is my big payday because my largest energy position was taken over. And today is the day that the cash come into my account, so which is really good. I have a lot of dry powder. I'm like the second or third largest shareholder of that company called Pioneering. So it's good. So I can buy cheap. So actually, before I came over, before New York closed, I was able to put some orders in to use my new money to bargain hunting. I also heavily invest in biotech. We have a very good year in biotech. And I have a lot of very important catalysts coming in the next few months. So my plan is if I have a chance, I think I will. Those are very high probability trade. I will take more profit in biotechs and I can gradually buy in silver, particular silver, in the next few months. We can look at the history. I was there at March 2020 when silver was $12. I think silver dropped to 11 at one point, and most people think silver will go back to single digit. But I pounded the table in my newsletter. I said, I buy at the $12. I'll take the risk as silver go below 10, which I didn't think so at that time, but I was right, almost at the bottom. Okay, and also for selling, I exit gold and silver stock, most of silver stock back in 2012. And I'm not a silver bug. Okay, I don't quite believe in the conspiracy theory. Okay, I think the ETF investment is a trader. They buy it, they can sell it. It's not the real demand. Some people put the ETF as one of the silver demand. I don't agree. And I just focus on one area only. It's called solar panel. And the technology is a wonderful thing. Once it reaches a certain point, it just takes off. I feel it has a lot of parallel of silver today versus lithium 7 years ago. I mean, give you some examples, right? So why lithium becomes so hot? Because the technology evolved so that it requires battery storage, right? Especially in the cars. And lithium happened to be the smallest molecule, okay, in metal, smallest. On top of lithium, actually hydrogen. You can't make a battery out of hydrogen. So lithium was the only thing there. And very hard to replace if you want a high-efficient, high-density battery, rechargeable battery. New mines are very hard to scale up, very hard to bring into production, takes years, right? And then one of the key difference between lithium and silver is lithium has very little above-ground capacity supply. So once lithium hit, lithium go to sky high. But actually, right now, lithium is very vulnerable because the sodium, right? Sodium, if you look at the periodic table, right? Underneath lithium, sodium. And people take years to specialize it. And then the Chinese, which is the biggest lithium battery maker, already produce sodium battery in massive scale. Okay, so, but they will not replace cars' lithium battery, but it will be perfectly replace the solar, Tesla battery pad. So I would be very careful about lithium, because once lithium reach surplus, lithium has no coin, lithium has no jewelry. They will just drop to kill the highest cost producer. That's always the cycle, right? So I will be careful. I don't know. I don't think it will go down very quickly, but it's you're getting close to the end of the cycle. And silver, we are at the very beginning of the cycle. Okay, we have one key difference. Silver is have a lot of above ground supply. Right, we have a lot of silverware at home. I have a lot of silverware at home. My wife always complains. Next time we move, we have this kilogram, hundreds of pounds of silver. How are we going to move those? So you have a silverware, you have silver coin, you have silver jewelry. Each area requires different price to sell, right? You think about that. If silver start to rise, the demand start rise, the first will take off silverware. That's probably requires $30, $40. And then you go to the jewelry, people don't want the jewelry pipe, and then the old jewelry, maybe a coin, souvenir. That's require maybe higher than $50 silver for people to sell it, to meet the demand. And I'm telling you why the demand is here. Okay, this is a very simple report. I mean, most of my report came from China, right? So the solar panel is 90% made by Chinese, right? And it's the largest solar panel. All these are Chinese companies. And I just trying to put it this way. There's a report by United Nations, right? There is International Energy Agency. Sorry, it's not IAEA, not IEA. They just published last month. You can go to this website, or you can Google that. They will tell you, okay, one of the key assumptions they made was, we assume silver intensity per kilowatts in solar panel to further decline by 1/4. Okay, that's based on Silver Institute report. And I know Silver Institute is here. I will be happy to debate with them. Actually, I think this assumption is wrong. Not only the intensity will not go down, it will go up. It will go up dramatically. So we are reaching this moment in our history, in our life, that not only the solar panel demand is going parabolic, the intensity or loading factor of silver inside the solar panel is also going up dramatically. And I show you why. And then also, finally, I just want to put it on. The United Nations, their report is not really based on real number. They have their goals are carbon neutral, so they have their goal is 2030. What I see, it will be reached in 2025. So 3 years from now. Keep that in mind. So this is their report, okay? They published last month. On the left top is their projection. Right now, the kilowatts, we are looking at annual capacity additions, and then the kilowatts about 200, a little bit over 200 kilowatt, if you see that. And then the gray bar is the total, right? By 2030, they said it's about 800 kilowatts, if you read it carefully. But based on all the report from Chinese manufacturer, the next one to the right with Chinese characters, that was a report earlier this year. Actually, they already revised this report. They have to revise it up. You're looking at by 2025, it will reach 700 kilowatts. On the right bottom, another report, they will reach over 1,000 kilowatts by 2025. Okay, so you see that. Basically, my point I'm trying to make is even this United Nations report was aiming 30. But actually, the speed right now, the deployment, just for Chinese market, I'm not talking about other things, just Chinese market will exceed that in 2025, 3 years from now, 3 years, remember that. Okay, now you see, oh, what is supply needed, what metal are needed. That's the key. If you go to the left to the bottom, can you see that clearly? That was United Nations report, how much metal of the annual production will be needed for the solar panel, for that scale solar panel. Okay, I mean, Telluride actually is the first one. But the Telluride is, I already checked, you can now trade that. Telluride is a byproduct of a copper mine. Okay, so the demand will over 100% will be taken by the solar panel industry. The second mostly used is silver. Okay, by the United Nations report, almost 40% of the worldwide silver production will be used in solar panel, 40%. And based on their assumption from Silver Institute that the silver loading factor will go down by a quarter. I see it opposite. It will at least go up by a quarter. So if you add those back, you can looking at 500 million ounces per year of silver will be used in the solar industry. Just in the solar industry, we're not talking about anything else, okay? By 2025, 3 years from now, okay? So if you look at the silver production, so this is a Silver Institute report. I mean, I don't know if we can read it. So what it does is tell you is that you can see the silver production profile, demand, supply, is like a pancake. The reason is, I think my friend Lobo also discussed earlier today, the silver is a byproduct. Silver doesn't really go with the supply demand. The mine just produce 1 billion ounces of silver every year, almost every year. It's as flat as a pancake. But if you think about that, if 50% of that silver will be taken away, in 3 years from now, will be taken away, what will happen? We'll have a huge deficit of silver coming in, I think, starting next year. Okay, next, I'm going to show you, this is a Silver Institute, okay? This is Silver Institute number, it's on their website. And it's showing and predicting the silver loading factor will continue to go down, which was true before, but it will change dramatically. So this is an article, okay, I put it just on the website. You can Google any article. There's a lot of articles on the website. They're talking about a new upcoming technology called Topcon. This Topcon technology will become popular next year. It start building. I'll show you there's a lot of manufacturer capacity earmarked for that. What do you see? The silver loading factor will dramatically increase just on this Topcon technology. Okay, it starts with the PERC, which is right now is using. The next generation will use at least, in this article is a little bit behind, okay, even though it published in March. If the latest research report show about 25% increase of silver. What it does is, so you can see the silver, all these are from the Chinese report, so they have the latest because they are very close to manufacture. And you can see all the numbers there, how much silver are needed for each technology. The first one, right now we are using the PERC technology, right? PERC, this is the current technology. The Topcon is coming next year. It will increase about 25 to 50%. The silver will increase. And then HJT, which is the next generation technology, will double the silver loading factor. Double, okay. And one thing very interesting is that the PERC technology is dominated by China. So, and then PERC can very easily migrate to Topcon, but not to HJT. So all the rest of the world, including United States, including India, including Turkey, they're all going after HJT. because they see China will dominate Topcon anyway. So why do I stay with the old technology? HJT is the next technology. The advantage of HJT is it's thinner, okay, it's less carbon intensive. It's about 30% less carbon intensive. So, and also it can be put on the window, very thin film. That's future technology, very thin film. Put on window, put on your home window, for example. You can use ultraviolet, right? You're blocking ultraviolet anyway. You can use ultraviolet to make electricity, and then you have a window, right? Other lights can come in. So you can put on the car, you can put on any places. So HJT is a future technology, it's upcoming, and then will double, more than double the silver load. And the prediction is it will come in 2024, 2 years from today. And this is just some picture. Okay, and on the bottom, I also show there's another technology in solar panel. It's called IBC, the back connector. It have a very, very small chance of succeed, okay? So but however, for the IBC, even it work successful, it will also go back to the Topcon HJT, it called TBC HJT. So it will also double the silver load in the future technology. And also, I want to show you that solar panel is not just traditional, we put it in the backyard, we put anywhere. There is, the first picture I saw is right now currently constructing in California. There's water drawn, right? There's a water shortage. So they want to cover the canal with solar panel. So generate electricity, reduce the water waste from the evaporation. So, and then also on the right is the actual picture right now already in China. Actually, they cover the lake with solar panel. It's not exactly all the lake, right? They cover most of the lake. They reduce evaporation. There's still some sunshine coming in, so vegetation can still grow. The fish can still live there, but the evaporation will be less. They solve the drought problem and then generate electricity. Finally, the middle one is Costco. You can go buy solar panel in Costco if you want to, and then you can potentially, when you go out, have a picnic, you can have a power instead of generator. And then the emerging technology right now from China is called double-sided. What happened, people learn, right? The solar panel come in at the angle, right? So the back reflection is very strong, especially in the desert, in the water condition, okay? You can generate another 20 to 40% more electricity. And then solar panel cost is about 10 to 20% of the total solar panel project. You understand? Solar panel project is not just solar panel, right? You need to buy the land, you need to have a battery, you need to have a transmission, you have to have a control unit, so on and so forth. And by increase, you add another side of solar panel on the other side, by increase the output by 20 to 40% worth it, because your cost only increased by 10 to 20%. So that's another thing. Right now it's building out in Saudi Arabia. It's quite popular in China, but I think it's getting out of China as well. And also in the desert condition, if you know in practicality, right? A sandstorm comes, sun will cover the solar panel, make it very dirty. Every once in a while you need to clean it. But if you have a double-sided, you can easily flip it, right? You can immediately generate electricity while cleaning the other side. So it's make it easier to maintain as well. So that will double, right? Think about this, will double the silver demand, right, per panel. So this is a solar trend. I don't know, you see that this is actually a startup in California, in the United States. As I said, in the United States, they don't look at the Topcon anymore because they think China will dominate Topcon. Why do I bother to stay with Topcon? But Topcon already use 25 to 30% more silver. They go for the HJT, which is double the silver count. In this startup, okay, what they do, you see that? They use 2 HJT in one solar panel, one for different wavelengths of the light. So in this way, you can theoretically increase the efficiency of solar panel from 20-something% to up to 40%. Okay, you may say, oh, we use so much, it's so expensive. But for some applications, in the future, like my phone, I may have a solar panel back, or my watch, or on top of Tesla, the real estate is very tight, right? People willing to pay for the premium for this. So you think about this double-sided HJT, which each layer will double the silver content, more than double the silver content. You think about how much silver is going to be needed to create this kind of solar panel. I think this one is probably a few years away. Probably we're looking at 2026 to 2028, later in this decade. But still, I'm telling you this, we are at a turning point. My point I'm trying to make is we are at a turning point of that the solar panel will reach the physical limit. In order to increase the efficiency, we need a lot of silver. So basically, the solar panel demand a lot more silver. That's the point I'm trying to make. So basically, that's basically the summary, right? I see the solar panel demand going dramatically. Okay, right now, in the first, according to the data, it's not there, but I heard in the first 6 months, China's solar panel output already up 50% from last year. But there is a component shortage right now. So most of the solar panel plants are off for the summer, waiting for components to catch up. But there's a lot of components coming. 400 gigawatts, I heard, is coming in the next few months. So it will have a very strong quarter, Q4, and a very strong 2023. So if you think about that, with solar panel demand goes up, with Europe, electricity charge go up by tenfold and then continue going up. Solar panel is a no-brainer for every residential, people, right? They just put on the solar panel, put a roof on solar panel. You can get a payback if in Southern Europe in a year or two, something, with subsidy. Depends on a different country. It's a really no-brainer. The really issue is the solar panel manufacturer cannot meet with demand. The backlog is so strong. Okay, but the thing is, it's coming. A lot of capacity coming dramatically. As I showed earlier, the capacity going up dramatically, and the output will go up dramatically. So we are now looking at very far away. You look at the UN report is 2030, but I see it coming in 2025. In addition, each technology coming, 2023 is Topcon, 2024 is HJT. One by one, technology demand more and more silver. So you see there were two factors combined will have a compound impact for the solar panel demand of silver. And potentially, I see if we continue current route, okay, there could be black swan. People say, oh, we could have a third world war. I mean, things can happen, right? So if we just continue the current trend, potentially we'll have a silver shortage starting next year, and then severe shortage into 2025. So these, again, those are the industrial trends. I just emphasize that. These are the technology coming in the next 2 years. You think about that, and then think of how much silver are needed. So we're at a very interesting point, okay? I put it the 20-year chart of silver. You can go back a little bit further. And I remember I was selling silver when the silver hit 50. My order was selling at 49 because it hit 50 before. I thought this time, 50, I would take some profit, which happened to be, a good selling point. That's back in 2021, yeah. 2011. So I was buying silver when silver really crashed, about $12, 2020. Right now, silver looks very weak, but you can see is about the traditional support zone, right? From 15 to 18, there should be a lot of support. And right now, okay, in general, precious metals are very weak because a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is not just euro is weak. You see, Turkey is having problem, right? Turkey's lira is having problem. Pakistan has been problem. Even South Korea currency is having problem. All these countries are gold and silver loving countries. Right? There's a lot of people that have to sell their gold to feed their family or sell their silver to feed their family. So it's kind of parallel to 1997, the Asian flu, 1998. If you go back to that history, what happened to gold, silver? We can potentially go down a little bit further. Okay, we can go back to the 15 to 18 zones. But I see when we get into next year, when we see the strong demand from solar panel, especially from fourth quarter of this year, people will have very different perspective of silver starting next year. And I know Silver Institute people are here. I'm more than happy to debate with them. I hope they can make a correction in their next report. I think it's next April, right, to show us where real silver demand in solar panel, which is going up dramatically. And then people will start waking up sometime next year. I hope it's the beginning of next year to see real demand of the silver from the solar industry, which is the largest industrial demand. Okay, so again, my point is, I believe in silver. Okay, I have a lot of silver at home, but I don't see the silver cannot really take off until we have a really, really strong industrial demand, which I see it coming, because silver is the best conductor, and then the cost of silver within a whole silver panel is like 10%, right? And then for the solar panel in the solar panel project is 10-20%. So it's very, very little cost compared with a huge solar panel project. If you try to replace silver with copper or even replace part of it, may reduce the efficiency. Even you reduce it by 1%, it's not worth it, right? So there will be people who already tried to replace silver for many, many years in solar panel. They are not successful, and I think the trend will start going up. Actually, we'll use more silver, more and more silver as solar panels start to take off in the next few years. Okay, so again, just quickly touch. I'm quite bullish on gold. I see there's a lot of secret buying of gold, reported shipment gold into China. I see China probably more interested in real gold than the US dollar due to all these potential conflict with the United States. And China also launched the digital currency. We discussed that early today. So we have more gold, at least give people more perception. We have more backing of the digital currency. Okay, so we have a potential more and more central bank buying gold. And I'm bullish on gold. Even short term, we could have some softness. So this is just the next generation Chinese currency. And the key is there's no transaction fee. So it's sponsored by the government, and they found it cheaper than printing the paper money. So once this is getting popular, so I believe it will force United States to launch its digital currency very soon. So this is in general my philosophy. Okay, so we are going in commodity business. They always go through the cycle. There's a boom and there's a bust. And a lot of times, it's a very small community, right? It's a very small market. People, especially like right now, market is weak. And there's a lot of people just trying to nimble and then get one stock, get the idea, and then with rise of maybe 10% and selling it, and I'm pretty happy. Look, it went down 20% today. So I see for us, okay, if you want to make a lot of money, it's to join a major wave of a commodity where money coming from outside, money coming out, just like lithium. People recognize the metal is in great need, and then there's a lot of money coming, and then water lift the old boat, right? So, and then in the current downturn, you want to be very careful. I want to accumulate high quality companies. There are quite a few high quality silver companies here. And I want to accumulate for some, you need to worry the most. And for me, okay, as an investor, I worry the most is dilution, right? So if, what if, at $18 silver, most of silver company not making money, not real cash flow, right? So all-in sustainable cost is very tough to reach $18. So they need to constantly dilute. So you want to make sure when the silver take off, you have a limited, the dilution is limited. That's a very important factor to consider. So again, yeah, that's the thing. I don't, I hate pump and dump, put it this way. I think the junior market is just too much of that. And I hope, and I personally, I like to catch a major trend. Then for extended period, everybody, we can make a lot of money just on the rising tide. And I successfully invest in Rhodium. I don't know if you know that. It was $1,000 something when I first mentioned a few years back. It hit 30,000. I think now it's 20,000 maybe. Palladium, and earlier, 20 years ago, there was copper, zinc, nickel. And from my Chinese background, because China is the largest commodity user, you can literally watch China and watch what's their next move. You can have a very good sense where next metal is. Okay, I also called lithium 7 years ago. I was on CNBC talking about lithium, and then the anchor asked me, what is lithium? At that time, nobody knows, but lithium already took off in China. That's before we take off here. So that's my point, and I see tremendous demand coming from the solar industry, okay, for silver, and I see silver potentially can have a very strong run for the next decade. So again, for the juniors, I strongly believe this is a really stock pickers market. It has to be very, very careful. I have a friend who almost lost everything in the past downturn. If you know that, it's like between 2012 to 2020. A very, very tough downturn. Okay, so you need to be very, very careful. And you need to actively trading. Unfortunately, it's very hard to buy and hold. So I have to take the opportunity. Okay, so anyway, so this is my last page, and it's chenpix.com, my website. And 20 years ago, I used to work on junior exclusively. And then now I'm involved in different sectors, in different areas, because my portfolio has gone up a lot thanks to the junior boom in the early 200s. Also partner with my good friend Jay Taylor. I'm on his radio show quite often. So, and with that, I think I have some time and open for questions and critique. Okay? Yes. Oh, platinum. I'm bullish on platinum. Platinum right now, okay, is quite weak, but it seems to be a whale. Every time, if you look at the import-export data to China, every time platinum below 1,000, which we are now, there's someone's buying as much as they could. They just keep buying, keep shipping. You find the platinum just from Switzerland to China. You can look at those data. I think they're buying again, right? Platinum is used most in cars, automobiles converter. And it's replacing palladium, which is much more expensive, and also used for the hydrogen battery, potentially, if hydrogen battery takes off. So I like platinum, yes. Any question? Oh, China produces a lot of silver, right? China produces a lot of silver, and then China also has a lot of smelters, the zinc and lead, all these byproducts. They just get it, and then they stay in China. So you don't see too much silver movement to China. So far, I see silver go to India recently, not China. But I think part of it is covered by those smelters. And also China, as I said, in the past 2 months in the summer, the solar manufacture is offline, mostly offline, because of the component shortage. I heard it will change next month, and things will start, they will ramp up production. The order is so high, they couldn't meet the order demand. You can imagine everybody wants a solar panel in Europe, right? So they cannot meet the demand, but they just have a component shortage. Yeah, that's a good question. Same thing as the old lithium battery. If we recycle, what will impact the lithium? Well, the question was, do I see the recycle of old solar panel, the silver coming out of old solar panel? The same thing, because it's going exponentially, right? The lithium battery going exponentially. Even you recycle the old lithium, it still bring down supply very limited. Same thing for solar panel. Solar panel is going like this. If we are right, it's going like this, and then the recycle is far lag behind. And then each solar panel usually have a lifespan of 20 years right now. The old solar panel maybe have 10 years, so you have to look quite early to get a wasted solar panel. Thank you everybody attending, and there's a lot of very interesting silver companies out there, and it's time, even the silver is down. Okay, last time I checked, it's 18 and change. I think probably it could be the last time we see silver below 20 in our lifetime. Okay, thank you.